His Excellency President Santiago Peña Palacios, distinguished members of the Philippine and Paraguayan delegations, members of the press, good afternoon, magandang hapon, buenas tardes. Today I have the distinct honor of welcoming to the Malacañang Palace His Excellency Santiago Peña Palacios, President of the Republic of Paraguay. Since the Philippines and Paraguay established diplomatic relations 63 years ago, on December the 12th, 1962, this is the first presidential visit ever made by either leader of our two countries. And since Paraguay has taken the first step, I think it is important that the Philippines soon return the favor. Cognizant of the historic nature of this visit, President Peña and I engaged in bilateral talks that covered potential areas of cooperation between our two countries, such as in agriculture, in trade, renewable energy, amongst others. I raised the possibilities of Philippine export of tuna, sardines, milkfish, and the other products to Paraguay, which would certainly give a boost to our local industry. And President Peña and I discussed the potential of increasing trade and investment between our two nations, starting with generating awareness and interest among businesses of both sides, with the longer-term objective of identifying and enabling economic and commercial opportunities. In line with this objective, we welcome the signing of the Memoranda of Agreement between the Philippines and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Paraguay's Investment and Export Network, or REDIEX, a pivotal step in establishing contacts between Philippine and Paraguayan companies. I commend the PCCI for this groundbreaking initiative. Complementing the establishment of institutional and commercial linkages is today signing of a visa-waiver agreement for ordinary passport holders of the Philippines and Paraguay, which the President and I hope will expedite business tourism and people-to-people exchanges between our two countries. The President and I likewise welcome today's signing of an MOU on mutual cooperation in the field of diplomatic training between the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Paraguayan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which will redound to closer engagements between Filipino and Paraguayan diplomats. President Peña and I also shared political and economic developments in our respective countries and exchanged views on the regional issues such as our ASEAN 2026 chairship and Paraguay's presidency of Mercosur I. I express my hope that President Peña's landmark visit is only the beginning of the deepening friendship and partnership between the Philippines and Paraguay. I am actually very optimistic in that in our discussion earlier, what came out was a remarkable parallel in the way that our countries are developing ourselves and how we view our countries. The Philippines views itself as a gateway to Asia and Paraguay a gateway to Latin America. And that connection, should we make it and should we strengthen it, will be a remarkable boon not only to your country and mine, but also to the regions from where we come from. And that has been that we discussed many things, and it was a very exciting discussion. And we were starting to talk not in terms of the short term or even the medium term, but in the much longer term. So we have a great deal of work ahead of us to make sure that we keep that momentum going in our bilateral relations. Once again, I wish to express my sincerest gratitude to the President and the Paraguayan delegation for this historic and productive visit. Thank you. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Muchas gracias.
Distinguished members of the press, good morning, everybody. Allow me to express my deepest gratitude to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. for the warm reception extended to our delegation during this historical official visit to the Republic of the Philippines, a nation that embodies a vibrant democracy and a spirit of openness that I deeply admire. I also extend my sincere appreciation to the Filipino people for their gracious hospitality, which reflect the spirit of brotherhood with which we aspire to build this new chapter in our relationship. This visit carries a historic significance that cannot be overlooked. It is the first time that a president of the Republic of Paraguay sets foot on Philippine soil. This fact is not merely protocolary. It is the clearest expression of the political will of both governments to inaugurate a new phase in our bilateral relations, grounded in shared principles and values such as mutual respect, the rule of law, and a commitment to the economic development of our peoples. At the multilateral level, I am pleased to announce that Paraguay has formally convened to the government of the Philippines in its capacity as chair of ASEAN its intention to accede to the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia. This decision reflects our firm determination to integrate into the regional dialogue and cooperation mechanism in line with the principles of peace, respect for sovereignty, and the peaceful settlement of disputes that have historically guided Paraguay's foreign policy. Accession to the TAC is not a symbolic act. It is a strategic declaration that positions Paraguay as an actor committed to stability and multilateralism in the Indo-Pacific. In the area of trade, I welcome the fact that the opening of the Philippine market to imports of Paraguayan beef, pork, and poultry in force since August of last year, 2025, has already enabled the first concrete shipment to this market. This milestone demonstrates the capacity of our productive sector to access one of Asia's most demanding and dynamic markets, with more than 100 million consumers. We aspire for this trade flow to expand and diversify in a sustained manner, consolidating Paraguay as a reliable supplier of animal protein in Southeast Asia. Likewise, we see significant opportunities to broaden our export offering in grain, maize, oilseeds, and agro-industrial products in response to Philippine demand for food security. In terms of economic integration, we identify a structural complementarity between our economies that goes well beyond trade in goods. Paraguay offers competitive conditions for the maquila industry, attractive incentive for foreign investment, and a logistic platform in full expansion thanks to the Bio-Oceanic Corridor, position us as a natural bridge between the Atlantic and the Pacific. The Philippines, for its part, represent an invaluable gateway to Southeast Asia. I would also like to highlight that Paraguay currently holds the pro tempore presidency of Mercosur, while the Philippines chair ASEAN. This convergence is not coincidental. It is an opportunity that we must seize with determination to advance a more structural dialogue between both regions. In this regard, we have agreed to explore a roadmap aimed at deepening ties between Mercosur and the Philippines, with a view to laying the foundation for a broader engagement between our two blocs, Mercosur and ASEAN, in trade, investment, and value chains. Finally, I deeply reaffirms Paraguay's commitment to strengthening this bilateral relation as a strategic partnership. The two agreements we signed here today further validate this position. Paraguay and the Philippines share a converged vision of the international order, the rule of law, respect for sovereignty, the peaceful settlement of dispute, the promotion of multilateralism, and a commitment to an international system based on clear and predictable rules. These shared principles and values provide a lasting foundation for our relationship. On this solid basis, I am confident that this first presidential visit will open a path of mutual understanding, joint work, and tangible benefits for both the Filipino and the Paraguayan people. President Marco, I deeply want to share my sense of gratitude. I have the confidence that we both came to this first meeting with high expectations. But I'm leaving this great nation with even greater expectations about the future of our two nations and our people. As the only country in Asia with Latino roots, I have no doubt that the role that you can play as a leader of the region will be fundamental for bringing together two regions that share a lot in terms of expectations about the future. So I deeply appreciate your welcoming and express the gratitude that we all felt, and we are looking forward to respond to this in the near future with a possible visit of yourself and your delegation. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.